3, 2, and 1. Smash Mouth Sports. We appreciate you clicking on this link. This is about Kawhi Leonard, the mob boss. Let me make you an offer you can't refuse. Now, Cam just tweeted me and texted me, and he said, we got to cover the story right now. It's breaking news. People are losing their mind on the internet. I says, Cam, what is the story that what is the story that the people want to hear about? He said, you got to get on your phone. You got to look this up. Kawhi Leonard. So Cam is bringing this right now. This news just broke. Drove down to the studio like a madman. Totally safe, of course. Not breaking any laws, of course.
Law-abiding citizen.
Yep. Law-abiding citizen, as usual. Mic'd up here. This is mic'd up. So, yes. And the story that we're getting, early reports are, is that Kawhi Leonard and the LA Clippers, rumors are they're in big trouble. What did they do, you ask? Well, the NBA, MLB, NFL, there's very, very strict. This is not, because of the level of the way sports is run, it's not like Mr. Ballmer at Microsoft, okay? If you're at Microsoft and you're trying to recruit Bill Gates Jr., Mark Zuckerberg Jr., you can give those guys $5 or $10 or $15 million to come for your company, for your startup, or for your mega company like Microsoft. But apparently, now, Cam, do you have the story?
Yes, I do.
I'll let Cam break the story. Let's hear the story. But apparently, it doesn't look good for Steve Ballmer, Mr. Ballmer and the Clippers. Let's hear the story.
So apparently the NBA has opened an investigation.
Let me stop you there. Slow down. Okay, go easy on the microphone. We're getting a lot of feedback there. We don't want to scare people off. So just.
I think it's because my phone's near it, so I know what it is. I'll
just go. You don't have to be word for it. Just give us a Cliff Notes version of the story.
So the NBA has opened an investigation into Clippers executive Jerry West. Yes, that Jerry West, the Laker great, the man who drafted Kobe Bryant and signed Shaquille O'Neal, who now works for the Clippers, that apparently he met with a member of Kawhi's team. It doesn't say who. It says a friend. It doesn't specify who. And that he would pay this friend $2.5 million of his own money.
Wow.
If Kawhi signed with the Clippers.
Let me stop you there. So the NBA logo. So who is paying who? Steve Ballmer is paying Kawhi?
Jerry West.
Oh, Jerry West.
Yes,
and his personal Mr. Logo, the Mr. NBA logo, for those that don't know, for you young NBA fans, that cool NBA logo you see, okay? That was a terrible pose, by the way. If you're like, what the hell was that? Like something from Christopher Walken. But yes, the NBA logo, Mr. Jerry West, I think they took this logo back in the 50s. He is the official NBA logo.
Correct.
And so if I'm understanding your story correctly, he's getting 10, 15 million a year, whatever this huge number he's getting. He's got a ton of money coming in. He offered to give either Kawhi Leonard's uncle or his brother,
his best friend.
I believe it's either his uncle.
His uncle is his agent. Yes.
His uncle is his agent. His uncle has been the one kind of Cloven Dagger, the Blacklist, secret site, DC sites, and so forth, where he's making all this magic happen behind the scenes, and Kawhi is letting him run with it. But the NBA doesn't work that way. The NFL, everything's got to be above book, above board. And so Jerry West, Mr. Logo said, I'll give $2.5 million to your brother, to your uncle, to whoever this family friend is. Is that correct?
Yes, that is the claim that was reported by TMZ 3 days ago. And now the NBA has launched an investigation into West and the Clippers. Correct.
So this broke 3 days ago. Now the NBA has launched this investigation.
They have opened an investigation into this. Correct.
Wow. So it went from a couple days ago, TMZ, restaurant, bar, blah, 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 not a big deal. The NBA said it is a big deal. And I'm telling you right now, what people don't understand, for those that love the government, when the NBA government, the NFL government, when any government gets involved, just ask Mr. Brady and the Patriots about that. When the government gets involved, they will spend every dollar on planet Earth to turn over every piece of paper, over every stone, and I guarantee you they'll find it. Because when you've got that much power and lawyers coming after you, they're going to find an I that's not dotted. They're going to find a signature. There's going to be one human error is going to happen. One slip-up is going to happen. That's why you don't want to upset and piss off the government, because these kind of things happen. So Mr. Kawhi Leonard was buttoned up. He won a title with the Spurs. He won a title with the Raptors. He's like, oh, you better bring in Paul George. You better sign my uncle. You better sign my brother. You better sign Uncle Rodney. You better sign this guy and this guy, $1 million, $2 million, this guy. So he's taking care of all his friends and family. I've got no problem with that if it's above board. If it's above board, which, of course, it's not above board, because let's say for the purpose of this conversation, he's got 5 guys that he wants to give $1 million to each, right?
Correct. Yep.
That's fine. If Kawhi gets a $200 million deal, he's got 5 guys that he wants the Clippers to pay. That's fine if it's above board. The problem is it's not above board because they have salary caps. They have collectively bargained agreements at that level of the professional organization. So unfortunately, in this case, the Mr. Mob Boss, Kawhi Leonard, who you just thought was Mr. Buttoned Up, I was like, I don't know about that. He gets a little too much credit. I love Kawhi Leonard. He's a top 5 player all day. But everybody's like, oh, if he wins this year with the Clippers, he's up there with LeBron and Jordan and this guy and the other guy and all the other guys. I'm here to tell you, yes, he was buttoned up with the Spurs. That Raptors team a year ago was super loaded, way more loaded than people realize. They did a great job building that team.
The first time he had expectations and he underachieved.
He underachieved. So what are your thoughts on this before we wrap this up? It's going to be a quick video.
This is a big story in the NBA because, I mean, we talked about this in the last video. The Lakers are the favorite. To me, there's only 2 teams that can beat them. And the Clippers are one of them. It's the Clippers and Nets. I think are the only teams that have a realistic chance to knock the Lakers off. And if this is proven, a lot of people in the Clippers are going to face some severe discipline. Maybe even Kawhi himself. I'm talking suspensions, loss of draft picks. This is a massive salary cap violation if you're paying someone, let alone it could be illegal because it's paying under the table.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but they traded 4 or 5 first-round draft picks for Paul George, did they not?
Correct. Yes, they did.
What can the NBA do? They don't have any. That's what's so great.
And Kawhi's a free agent after this season.
Oh, Kawhi's a free agent after this season?
Yes, he is.
Oh, my God. I thought he signed like a 3 or 4 year deal.
Yeah, those is a 4-year deal, and the 3rd and 4th year are player options. It's only the first 2 years they're guaranteed. He's a free agent this year.
Wow, that's horrible. That's horrible. Kawhi Leonard, because I'm telling you right now, when all the stones are unturned, the Clippers are getting the anvil. The Clippers are going to get the hammer. They are going to be the nail, and they're going to get hammered. The NBA is going to make an example out of it, because here's what Steve Ballmer doesn't realize. When you're at Microsoft, you can pay the government.
He's the boss. He can do whatever he wants.
Look, Microsoft, Bill Gates, 20 years ago, people don't know this that are, under 30. 20 years ago, Bill Gates was sued by the first time. Bill Gates was the first person walking planet Earth that had a net worth over $100 billion.
Correct.
Since that day, he's slowly downgraded on purpose. Let me do more non-for-profit. I've got plenty of money. Let me go easy on the government, because he felt that hammer from the government, and he did not want that hammer fist again. He did not want that fist. So when you're at Microsoft's level, you can pay $50 million. You can pay $100 million fine, because at the end of the day, your business decisions, you're making billions on the side. Same thing with the Clippers. They don't care about paying this guy and that guy 10 or 15 or 20 million if they win the NBA title. The problem is in the NBA, it doesn't work that way. In the NBA, they punish you. They take away draft picks. And I could totally see Kawhi Leonard going full-fledged savage and leaving the Clippers after this year. And it's going to be Paul George and Lemon Pepper and a bunch of randoms.
Absolutely. I can see it too.
That should be the title of this. Not just Mob Boss, but Paul George and the Lemon Peppers. Like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks again. We got one more.